The Flash movie has arrived. We are officially on the other side of the Flashpoint, and now the heavy responsibility lies in the hands of one James Gunn. What to do next with this DC universe? What will he choose to do? Who will be Batman? Probably not George Clooney, but that's a whole other discussion for another time, a whole other video. We're here to talk about The Flash, starring Ezra Miller, and of course Michael Keaton as Batman. Oh boy, oh boy. I tried to go into this movie without attaching my enjoyment of the movie to my knowledge of all the behind the scenes drama with Warner Brothers, the firing of all the directors, the rewriting of all the scripts, all the drama, the politics. I tried to leave at the door. Also, this movie is very heavily based on the Flashpoint storyline, which I can't help but be familiar with. You know, I go into the theater, I try to leave that at the door, but as I'm watching the movie, of course, I'm noticing little things that they did differently. And I noticed with a lot of these differences that they made the choice to lean into the Flash character with every single change of the story. So if something was meant to have Batman shine, now we're changing it so that Barry or the Flash can shine, which I don't mind them doing. It's their movie. It's their main character that they're trying to build up. The original Flashpoint story relies heavily on the Justice League and these altered versions of the Justice League characters. You had Jason Momoa show up in the post-credit. You had Wonder Woman show up in the beginning. But to have them lead their armies against each other in a big battle, it's a lot to bite off, let's be honest. So instead, they chose to lean into the Barry Allen storyline with his mom and his two selves, which is probably a little bit of a weakness because I was a bit on board with the older, more mature, the Snyderverse Barry, if you will. But the younger Barry, oh my God, I wanted to shake this kid. I don't care. He's 18. He's not a child. I will smack this kid. I did enjoy Michael Keaton, however. Obviously, that's what most of us, I think, came to see. Michael Keaton back as Batman. Whatever they had to offer, it wasn't too much, but it wasn't too little. I feel like it was the right amount. There was only so much you could do with an older Michael Keaton. You only had so much of a story to tell. You know, the older, bearded, reluctant guy says, okay, I'll do it. And then finally goes out with a bang, which I thought was a little bit uncharacteristic of Batman to just be like, all right, I'm going to fly my plane into the side of this giant ship knowing I'm going to kill myself. Still, it was like Warner Brothers' way of knowing that this is kind of all we can give you. And even when they brought him back a second time, I'm like, all right, a little bit more, but even I know this is the last we're going to get. And he even says the line, you know, kid, you brought me back. Good job. Here I am, but I gotta go. I like Supergirl. We could have gone a little bit more Supergirl. Obviously, it shines a light on the fact that we didn't have Henry Cavill, but I didn't feel like she took away from the movie. I thought it was a plus having her around. I wanted more of her. I kind of wanted more of every character that wasn't the Flash. General Zod. Michael Shannon plays him excellently in Man of Steel, one of my favorite comic book villain characters of all time, or at least in a movie, the portrayal of him. A-class. Here he comes out just like, give me the Kryptonian. I want the child. Like, there's nothing special about his performance, nothing memorable, but just having him back, that was cool, that was exciting. So I wish they had given him more to do, more dramatic flair in the delivery. Maybe just even that would have been nice. But it was cool just having him back. But again, more would have been more, you know, more opportunity. You know what I'm saying? But again, the movie chose to focus more on the two Barrys, the Flash and other Flash. I don't know what we call them, Flash and Flash. Snyder Flash and younger Flash. They had something going with the younger Barry who didn't understand the responsibility of being a superhero, giving the Snyderverse Barry a lesson to teach, and in doing so, a lesson to learn about being responsibility and time travel and all that. But the way they did it with the future Barry and the timelines, it was just a little convoluted. you kind of have to just say this is a movie and go with it. Like if you think about it, like the pre-existing timeline, in order to have the motivation and be in the future, it doesn't really work. If the younger Barry hadn't already been the Flash, it's a little willy wonky. I don't want to get too far into it because I might get lost in the weeds. I wish they had just given us maybe a little better pacing on the delivery of the motivation. You got younger Barry kind of just being out of the loop, and then all of a sudden he has the powers, and then all of a sudden he's like super, I want to control time and go back in time and fix everything. And then we get just a taste of the villain being like, I have gone through time and I have seen everything and now I'm super evil. Like we don't get enough of the future Flash's story arc. We just get him punching Barry one time at the beginning and then showing up right at the end. So the pacing of the storytelling failed to give us something dramatic. It was kind of just dropped in at the end. And they spent a lot of time in this like time travel bubble with all like the really bad CGI, uncanny valley actors. If you had all the time to get this thing right, like if you could get Gandalf and a little hobbit on the same frame looking like they're half the size, then I'm sure you could rig the camera to just go over your actors in a circle, have them reach out, get the shot, do it as many times as you need to for all these different moments. Like it couldn't be that hard versus like these awful looking CGI characters in like their dome of time. I did not like the look of it, and they spent so much time in this like weird like bubble of time going into the sand pit. Less of that, please. That's all I can say. But no, they don't give us less. They give us more of it, more and more and more, to the point that the climax of the movie happens in this awful CGI dome of time and ugly actors. I did like what they were doing with the timeline and the spaghetti and the fixed points. It kind of reminded me of the Doctor Strange What If, where he's trying to go back and save Christine and it just won't ever work. And they're trying to go back and save Supergirl and Zod in the same way, and it just won't work. They just really take their time delivering the point on the fact that you shouldn't be messing with time this way. We kind of, as the audience, already got the message when he had this conversation with not one, but two Batmen. Finally, he does go back and fix things, and just like in the original Flashpoint, where he was able to just kind of fix a little bit. He was able to just barely kind of do a little something with the tomato can and save his dad. Roll credits, happy ending, la 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 la. Except for George Clooney, oh my God, it was a nice little tip of the hat. I know, obviously, he's not coming back as Batman, but I just found it a little ridiculous. I mean, they couldn't even get him to shave the beard. He looked like George Clooney. He didn't look like Batman. But that's neither here nor there. I'm sure some of you liked it. Obviously, it is what it is. Like I said, I could have gone for more Zod, more Supergirl, more Batman, less Barry. Even the fighting style, like I thought it was kind of cool the way they did like the Quicksilver technique. Going in a circle in the desert just didn't look great. I liked the movie. I'll definitely watch it again on HBO. I won't go back to the theater and watch it, but I had a good time. I didn't like the ending where they had, again, more Uncanny Valley CGI. You had the Nicolas Cage Superman fighting the giant spider, which was like, yes, finally we got it. But why does it have to look like a video game cutscene? Same thing with Batman and Robin, the OG Superman in the black and white. Like, why is it in black and white? It was a nice touch, like a little homage to DC, but the delivery, it would have been better done with real footage, maybe. It didn't look great. Like the time bubble, it just didn't look good to me, so I didn't like it. It was creepy. Finding it hard to say good things about this movie. I thought Ezra Miller did a good job, like performance-wise, even though like I didn't want to root for him that much. Although it was a little bit of like the overacting, like, don't forget the tomatoes. Don't forget the tomatoes. Don't forget the tomatoes. That was it. The third one, that was it. Hopefully, like the Flashpoint really undoes more. But I don't know, the post-credit scene, they had him hanging out with Jason Momoa as Aquaman. So that would suggest, obviously Momoa is still around for Aquaman 2, but also Ezra is still around for the Flash. So, I don't know, maybe they're really betting their cards that this Ezra Miller situation will really clean itself up. I don't know. I don't see it going that way. But the future, as we know, can change. So, This has been my review of The Flash. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any thoughts, leave them down below in the comment section. You know how this thing works. Like, hit the subscribe for more. I've been your boy, Ezra. Peace.